Hello guys, I'm Darren from Noah Garden Center.
Hi everyone, I'm Karen.
I'm Ping.
And we both run Little Big Garden.
Today we are at Little Big Garden. Guess what? This place is little, but yet it packs a punch and it's also a big garden in all ways. Today we are going to speak to Karen, the founder of a Little Big Garden. At the same time, they are very special for one thing. And today we're going to talk about Kokedama. And Koke means moss, and then Dama means a ball. Alright. So today we are going to talk about what's so special about this Kokedama. And most of you probably haven't seen it before, but it's a huge thing on Instagram. And today we're going to show you where it's from, how is it being made, and what's so special about Kokedama. And without further ado, I'm going to ask Karen to join me.
Hi guys!
Okay, so Little Big Garden, I'm personally very interested about how you guys started. And I know that you are into videography, and what was the inspirational thoughts and action that caused you to start all this?
Okay, well, this space here is actually was our studio, visual communication studio, and we kind of turned 2/3 of it into Little Big Garden about almost 3 years ago. So how we started? Well, I think Ping, my business partner, and I, both of us actually grow edibles at home. And so we've always been interested in plants and stuff. And then we decided to just take the plunge and do like some trials. So we actually started out at Gardener's Day Out.
Oh, Gardener's Day Out.
We just made some of our bonsai on platters, and then we tested the market.
But you see, right, you started from doing edibles, and you guys you have green fingers, you love plants, but why specifically, going into a Kokedama?
For Kokedama, that's just one of our product range. Kokedama, Ping took a class to learn how to do it. It was a very basic class. And then after that, we said like, oh, okay, this is really interesting. We wanted to create string gardens, and then we wanted to experiment with trees and little plants in the Kokedama, which we call a living pot. Okay, and then the traditional Kokedama is a poor man's bonsai. Okay, so traditionally Kokedama is Koke is moss and Dama is ball, moss ball. So it's green moss, but it is not so easy to maintain moss. So we have actually adapted it. We're using sphagnum moss, and then we're also using coconut husk.
Yeah, what I like the most, right, about the Kokedama from Little Big Garden is that they took something that originated from Japan, which is we have a very huge contrast of climate and humidity in Singapore, but they have taken something from the idea and they localize it using local materials and making sure that these guys can really survive. So I really appreciate the thoughts and the planning and the actions and the materials also behind coming out with the localized Kokedama. And I'm just looking, right? So, I mean, I have seen a lot of Kokedama, right? But this Kokedama is the very first that I've ever seen, even on Instagram in Singapore. So I'm just wondering who came up with this idea and what was the thoughts about it? Yeah.
Who came up with the idea? So I would say Ping actually started doing this, and then we started experimenting to see what actually goes wrong with it. Testing.
I see. Okay. I mean, I'm just wondering, do you guys do classes for teaching people how to make Kokedama?
Yes, we do workshops.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
small workshops. At the moment, we can only do like 5 or less. Yeah.
Right. Understand. Okay. Very cool.
We've had people coming for workshops where they buy a birthday gift for their friends. Yeah, so they all come and do a workshop together. Yeah, things like that.
It's just so meaningful, right? That you go for a class and then you make something for your friend and give it as a birthday gift. I think there's a lot of memories created together. Yeah. Okay, so Karen, one of the most Instagrammable photos that I personally like would be all these hanging Kokedama, around the restaurants. I was just always thinking about how is it to maintain, is it sustainable? But look, this shop, right, is full of hanging Kokedama, and these guys, right, are just, if they were to do that in a shop, you can be assured that it really works for them. So I want to ask you, right, can you give us some kind of tips and maybe the top 3, things about how to rather upkeep and to maintain a sustainable or growing Kokedama?
Okay, first thing is light. Okay, most of them would minimally need bright shade. So as you can see, this window doesn't actually have sunlight, but it's enough light. So that's the main thing. First is light, and then secondly is the watering. How do you water it? So for watering, right, we do this. We fill a container halfway with water, and then you just submerge. Okay, if you're lazy, you don't want to take it out, then this is the way you do it.
Ah, right.
And then you just go from one to another. And then actually for about half a minute or a minute, it doesn't really drip, as you can see.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It will just absorb. Yeah.
Oh, right. Because of your okay, so it's really about what goes inside that really helps to absorb the water really quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for this one, it's a fern. So mainly we use soil and then sphagnum moss. Okay, and then the other medium is you can actually wrap it with coconut husk.
I see.
For plants that prefer drier. So in our workshop, actually we use two medium. And you can hang it, or we normally make the strings. So the ones that are trailing, you can hang. The ones that are not trailing, you can actually let it sit, like a tree, for example.
Okay, so Karen, just now you were saying, right, that plants also need to wear clothing like human beings. So I'm just wondering, like, what do you mean by this clothing? Because I haven't really seen a Kokedama or any plants wearing clothing, textiles.
Okay, so plants wearing clothes. This is what I mean.
Ah, right.
Yeah, we created a crochet bag for the plant. Yeah, so essentially it is similar to the coconut husk, but some people prefer it like that because it's neater. Yeah, so it's just using nylon string, and then we crochet it, and then we plant the plant in it.
So can this crochet be taken out? I mean, or is it permanent?
Yeah, it's pretty permanent.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like customized to the
It's
shape
like a
of
pot.
this.
Yeah, another style of living pot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will this rot over time and the color will it change?
No, we've already tested it.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's still the same method of putting in water for half a minute and
For a minute.
for a minute. Okay. Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah.
And
so it comes in two colors. We currently have black and gold.
Black and gold. Okay. And I also see that you have this this very interesting Kokedama living in a glass house. So maybe you can walk through with me why do you need a really special thing for it?
Okay, so I mentioned earlier, right? You need light and then you need water. The third thing would be humidity. If you were to have a Kokedama that is a traditional moss ball, right, which is wrapped in moss, to keep it green, you actually need to keep the humidity. Yeah, because moss actually prefers like 25 to 28 degrees. So aircon condition is okay, not too cold, and then you need to have light. And then, of course, being in aircon, the air is dry. So we use this lid to cover it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this thing is actually quite important if you want to grow moss like that, right?
Yes,
where it captures and keep the humidity high.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, we take a look, right? So this is actually real moss. And I mean, I'm just trying to describe to you guys how it looks like. It's actually using living moss, and these are real. Let me try it. Yeah, it's real. So using a really tiny transparent string, the guitar string similar, and they wrap it all around just to keep it looking with a ball shape and maintaining the texture. Do you need to trim off the moss from time to time? It just stays the same like that, right?
Very slow growing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to maintain the green, keep the humidity.
Right. So one of the things that you guys have to take note, right, is that when you're typically people usually position this near the window, right? So if it's near the window, the sunlight is coming from one angle. So perhaps every 2 weeks you should kind of like rotate it so that you get light being distributed well across the ball, and also the plant, right, will not kind of like grow towards one side unless you intentionally want it to grow in that certain manner. If not, you should always rotate. I mean, that's a tip to keep it looking fresh on all sides.
Hope you guys had a good time with us today learning about Kokedama. Now you know how to take care of your Kokedama if you get one. See you again next time. Bye!